Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft Video with me. Today we're going to be looking at a complete mirror image, or technically a copy, of an entire area in vanilla Minecraft. This includes a single player version, where there's an exact duplicated copy of your player doing the exact same things that you do, from placing blocks to opening doors, to a multiplayer co-op version for an adventure map style idea that I had. So we're going to go into first the single player version, and then the co-op version of ideas. This is a fast pulsing clock that you can see, and this essentially is all the redstone required. Just one redstone block. That lever's not even necessary. That's just to reset it. But we're going to go into both the single player and the multiplayer co-op commands at the end of the video. So first off, we have this player. If we turn that way, it turns that way. If we turn this way, it turns that way. We can walk around the house, whatnot. We can even make them build. So let's build something like this. We can make them go on the roof if we want. You can just climb the steps, right? And get up here. So let's destroy this. Alright. And so he can build. He can open doors. He can go inside the house. Pretty much, you know, let's open a chest, although he technically can't do that. You know, stuff like that. So, essentially, this is an exact duplicate copy. Obviously, the player itself can't be technically duplicated, so you have to do with a renamed mob with custom stuff on it to make it look like your player. But hey, it's pretty close. So, essentially, this is an awesome idea where the player can do whatever they want, both building and just movement-wise. Like, look, I'm turning that way, and he's at the exact same angle that I am. And so I think that's pretty cool, as well as being able to open doors, do other things. It's all the same kind of stuff, and you can set the area that this works in. For example, I made this redstone block the corner, so if I build out here, it doesn't actually build, but if I build inside here, it does. So, very cool, very nifty, and all that. Now, let's turn this redstone off. Turn this redstone on over here. And just make sure that's working. And then we have our multiplayer co-op. Obviously, I'm not doing this with two people so that I can explain both sides and a few ideas with some of these ideas. However, you're going to have to pretend in your little minds that there are two people. So let's say they're separated by a wall that they can't pass. Let's pretend like you can't just walk around it. Okay? And so one player can do whatever they want, and the other player has to kind of, you know, both of them have to figure out how they're going to get to the next part of the puzzle or finish the map. And so they both realize to continue, they need to get inside the house. So they're going to pretend like there's no way to get inside the house. They're like, oh, well, we need to figure out how are we supposed to get in, and how is the other person supposed to get in. So they both search for a while. They figure out that whatever they do on this side happens to the other side. So once he finally goes on some long quest, adventure, or finds this chest that is very inconspicuously hidden right here, he can find a key, and he can go inside, and you can see just on the other side, it is also open. So, very cool. And then they can both go inside, and they're like, well, now that we're inside, now what? Well, they realize we kind of need to go somewhere. Let's open up the trapdoor so they can both go down somewhere. There's like chests full of stuff, and our beacon and our bacon obviously not switched in any way. And they're like, oh, there's a bunch of locked doors. And so they go up, get an item from their chest, and they're like, okay, yeah, that was easy. And there's a door here, and they somehow figure out they need a key to get in. And they also realize, let's just pretend like none of these are open, and they need all of those items to get in. And so the other player needs items to get in. How are they supposed to get items to open all those doors that we're pretending are totally not open right now? Well, they use this dropper. So essentially, because the other one is being copied, if you put an item in there, it will constantly be copying that dropper. And so they can get infinite amount of items. So however many items that they need for opening all those doors, they can get infinite items, even if that player only has one. Because this player cannot open chests while the other player can. Like, technically they can, but since it gets replaced immediately, it doesn't do anything. So they go in, throw all these items into all these hoppers, all the doors open, and then they're like, well, we're still stuck. We can't get to those diamond blocks or the rest of the puzzle or whatnot. So they go out, they both search for a while, and they're both finally like, okay, there has to be a key somewhere. So this person finally notices and finally decides to pay no attention to this inconspicuous wall over here, but he does anyways, and he goes in and he finds a key. So now that he has this key, he can go inside of the house, go down there, and finally open the door and continue to the rest of the puzzle, or just take the diamond blocks or whatnot. But yeah, pretty awesome. It's pretty cool ideas on how you can work together, similar to like the death swap kind of ideas, or there's like adventure maps that have been played that you can swap between like two identical kind of maps. It all relies on those same kind of principles when you're trying to think up ideas for this map, that if you're going to create one, or any map ideas like such. So both are equally awesome because the multiplayer aspect has so many cool different kind of motives to it. The single player aspect looks kind of a lot more awesome, but in the same way, like, the multiplayer one's a little more useful. I mean, you can do so much with the multiplayer stuff, though. Like, you can have one player build a bridge for the other player if the other player doesn't have access to blocks. So that's really cool. Something that people haven't really done yet. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, but before we go, I think I need to show you the commands. So there are two parts I've kind of separated here, and so we can turn this one off just for ease of sake. But this is the single player part, and this is the multiplayer part. And so the single player part requires both of these, while the multiplayer part just requires this. Essentially, the multiplayer part is just a clone command. It's just constantly replacing this one in that block. So in this plot right there of land. So this house and everything in it is constantly being put over there, and you can make up to, I think, 5,000 blocks selected in one clone command, and then if you want more, you just make another, and these other two are simply just setting the middle to a redstone block and immediately back to air, making an insanely fast pulsing clock. The single player version, which is what you add on to that, simply TPs this zombie that I have, and it can be any mob, and it can have any equipment, but I simply just spawned one with a custom name, some equipment, and the invulnerability tag, so it doesn't take any damage. So it constantly is TPing the zombie to the player, and immediately TPing that zombie 19 blocks away. So it's constantly doing both of these, meaning essentially it's teleporting the zombie relative to where a player is, not the command block. That is the effect. It TPs to the player, immediately TPs there and back again so fast that you only see it over there. And so it is a very cool thing that you can do. Very awesome, very simple. It essentially requires 3 command blocks total, max. And if you want to make it so that this isn't just the master copy, but both are affecting the other, I'm pretty sure there's a way you can do that, as long as the clone command doesn't disallow overlapping of selection boxes. So that's all I have to show you guys for today, although it is pretty awesome. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.